Throughout this course, we've looked at environmental problems and some environmental solutions. And just in the past section, we looked at policy methods for dealing with global climate change. And all of this is great, but it's a little frustrating for the individual because we'd like to see something happen. We'd like to have some control over what's happening in our world, and we can. And in our own lives, in our community activities, we can take appropriate action. And so this presentation is about ways that you and I can take action and have a positive impact on our world. For me, the appropriate way to kind of deal with this issue of the need for some action on climate change and other environmental problems is to think of the big issues. I mean, there's nothing bigger on a global scale than global climate change, but we live, you live, I live in our own particular small piece of the world, and then we have to act locally. We have to be involved with what's happening in our homes, what's happening in our school, what's happening in our community. And so the idea of thinking globally but acting locally, I think, is appropriate. So our actions will have a positive impact, even though it's, every individual action has to add up, but our own individual action will make the world a little bit better if we make some good choices. So I lay out kind of here, I'm a little reluctant to do it, but I lay out kind of a prescription of things that we can do. And these are very simple things. And I want to be given the first step. The first step is we can live sustainably as we can live. And if you look at this table, you can see our biggest use of fossil fuel is involved with transportation. So our biggest part of the carbon footprint for our own lives is transportation, followed by housing, which involves heating and cooling and lights and all those other things involved at home, and then followed by food, particular food choices, and goods and services. So all of this adds up to a pretty big carbon footprint for the U.S., about 5 times bigger than the rest of the world. Probably the most important thing that you can do, or that we could do, and I try to do, is to consider my commute. So when I've chosen a place to live, or I've choose activities that I try to make them so they don't involve a lot of driving. Or if I am going to have to drive, I always think about, can I do this at some other time? Do I have to do this drive now? Can I consolidate trips? Or can I do this in a carpool? Can I share a ride with somebody? So to minimize the impact of my driving, because I know that driving is the biggest single part of my own carbon footprint. And then I look at, or I would urge you to look at, the kind of vehicle you're driving. A lot of times we don't have a lot of choice. It's a vehicle that we're buying, or because that's what we can afford, or because it's part of a situation, maybe a family vehicle that we're getting our hands on. But when you have a choice, it's really good to go online, look at the efficiency data, and try to find a vehicle that will serve your needs, but is not as energy consuming and doesn't pollute very much. Do the best you can in that area. It's a tough one, but do the best you can. Kind of selecting the right car is a technology. We have to. We're smart enough we can choose the best technology. Like we can drive an electric car, or we could drive an HEV. Whether that works out is great. But there are other things we can do that don't cost as much, that really involve lifestyle change. You can be a little cooler at home during the wintertime, a little warm in the summertime. You can worry about switching off lights, not using lights you don't need, switching off appliances or other piece of electronics that you don't need. So lots of little things you can do, and partly it does have an impact, but it saves you money, but it also sets your mind, makes you think about these things. It's important, I think. Specific things we can do at home. Remember, the home Energy use is the second part of the second biggest part of our personal carbon footprint is lighting. Lighting's big. So at one time I switched all the lights in our house to more efficient uh, compact fluorescent light bulbs, and now I'm actually in the process, as those go, replacing them with LEDs. They're a little bit more expensive, but they last a long time. They use less energy and will save me some money in the long run. But they're also, seem like a very, it's kind of the least thing I can do is to pay attention to that and kind of replace those. And when you're buying appliances, I wouldn't tell anybody they should go out and replace their refrigerator right now or replace their air conditioner. But when you are doing those things, when you're making a change at home, then get the most efficient thing you can, because the price difference between a quite efficient thing and a not very efficient refrigerator or air conditioner or whatever is very small. So you get almost an immediate payback for this, and it's important to be looking for that Energy Star label. Even when sometimes you go to Sears to buy your refrigerator, they don't know much about it, but you need to learn a little bit about it and make sure that you always look for that Energy Star label. Also, when we look at our houses, in some cases, a lot of money can be saved, a lot of energy can be saved, and less emission of greenhouse gases by upgrading the house or weatherizing. So things as simple as caulking around windows and doors, adding insulation in the attic or in walls in some cases. And in some cases, it pays to upgrade windows or upgrade appliances. The university has done a lot of this. We've gone through the process of upgrading quite a few of the older buildings, and of course there are some new highly efficient LEED silver buildings on campus. The other thing you can do is to look at the food choices you make. Certainly eating locally seems to make sense, because when you eat locally, there's not a transportation energy involved in transporting that food from some other location to your current location. But even bigger than that, surprisingly, is the particular food choices. So if you're eating beef, there's a lot of energy that goes into producing the beef, producing the grain that the beef cattle are eating, and quite a bit less than some other foods, certainly vegetables, and quite a bit less than even some meats like chicken. So it's maybe good to take a good look at your diet and learn more about that. In addition, looking in the area of goods and services, so reducing the things that you buy. Thinking, do I really need to purchase this particular thing? Can I get by without it? Is that something I need? Can I reuse it? Something else I have? Can I buy this? Can I buy a used version of that particular thing that I want? And can I sell the thing I have in my house or my dorm room? Can I sell that instead of throwing it in the trash? So can I reuse it? It's really important. And then recycling, particularly recycling paper. One of the easiest things we can do, recycle paper and cardboard, aluminum cans, glass bottles, that kind of thing. So the second thing would be to get better informed, so you can make wise environmental choices, and you can help other people make good choices, and you can have an impact on your community through your knowledge. I would hope that this course has been useful to you. It's just the beginning. There are a huge amount of information resources out there. There are a lot of very knowledgeable people who can tell you a lot of things that we didn't cover in this course, and a lot of things that would apply particularly to your community. You can go to something like Third Thursday in downtown Willimantic and talk to people from different clubs and organizations. There are a lot of people out there, and you can learn a lot from people. And for me, step 3 is get involved. So you can make a big impact by yourself, but you can make an even bigger impact if you're working with neighbors, or you're working with friends, or you're part of an organization. So get out there, get outside, get out in the community, get involved, get to know people, and learn from them, and participate in different activities. Some of them might be like this one, climbing Mount Washington, a lot of fun, but you'll learn a lot from just doing this, and you also learn a lot from the people you might go with. So get involved and make an impact is my kind of last piece of. I feel a little self-conscious that this presentation has been something like a sermon, urging you to do things. But I believe passionately in these things, and I think it's important for you to consider these also. And I'm sure many of you already have. And I really this picture here on the right is one that impresses me. That what we're doing now in our lives will determine what the future will be like. So it's not that there are some forces out of our control that are going to determine the future. It's our own action. So we've got a lot to do, and what we do, the good thing is every positive thing you do counts.